The
It's your
reasons
boy, Big
Amazon
Papi,
Teamsters will
396,
surpass
coming to you live
sanitation.
on this drive to this general meeting this morning. Looks like it was a little bit rainy, but I wanted to speak about the Amazon Teamsters. More specific, you know, they got a lot of stuff going on with the NLRB. That's kind of up in the air right now with the current administration. And, you know, the Supreme Court, they're kind of playing chess right now. But when it's all said and done and Amazon officially becomes Teamsters, like every single you know, like majority of the warehouses and locations become unionized, which is our goal. You know, that's the goal. Once they become unionized, they will surpass the sanitation industry. Why do you say that? I say this respectfully, you know, as candid and as honest as I could be. Right now, when I go to these meetings, can you tell all who's a trash truck driver, who's UPS? Yeah, you kind of can, because a lot of the UPS members, they wear something that's like UPS, or to let you know that they're like UPS Teamsters. With the Amazon Teamsters, there's like a handful of them, maybe like, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 10. And they're starting to kind of learn what this stuff is about, you know, what being a Teamster is about. And I see it in their eyes that they want to be involved. They want to learn more and more about workers' rights. They want to learn about how these companies and corporations exploit workers to meet these bottom lines. And they just, you know, this is history. This is how it's always been. But number one, just the sheer value of e-commerce. You got to think, e-commerce has exploded within the past, I would say the past 10 years, where you start to see a lot of brick and mortar shops closing down. I got an account that's shutting down, right? And you have businesses like Party City shutting down. You have businesses like what's that one company? Joann Fabrics, they're shutting down. So a lot of brick and mortars, to be honest with you, I don't even know what's about to happen with malls. I don't even know what's about to happen with malls, because a lot of malls and stuff like that, these brick and mortar stores, everybody is shopping online. They only come to the stores when they directly want to get something right then and there. They don't want to wait for shipping. They want to go pick up something right then and there, right? But majority of consumers are doing the whole e-commerce thing, meaning shopping online. That's all it means, e-commerce. So it has exploded within the past 10 years. This is why recycling routes, if you have a recycling route, it's like, man, you're dealing with more recycle because people have more boxes, more packages. You're dealing with more shipping packages. You're dealing with, even you personally, you probably order a lot of stuff online. And you deal with a lot of packages, a lot of boxes. And this industry is exploding. And once Amazon becomes unionized, then they're going to have far more locations. There's going to be far more members. Far more members who pay their union dues. It's just like UPS, right? For every, I don't know, one trash truck driver, there's probably 10 UPS workers, right? Because just by numbers, by sheer volume of numbers, UPS, they outnumber us. This is the very reason why when you go to a lot of these meetings, you'll see a lot of UPS members, because these guys are very, very, the ones that they have so many numbers that the ones that are involved, they're very, very vocal. They're letting their faces be shown. They're shaking hands. They're getting in the faces of these people who are at our local union. So therefore, when there are concerns that need to be met, they know everything. At every location, you can hear it during the speeches, like, hey man, you remember back in 1998 when we had that whatever? And you could just hear the leaders, the relationship, the personal bonds that they have with some of these UPS workers, because these guys were very involved. They were very active. And that is missing in the sanitation industry. It doesn't matter where you go. I have guys that work at Republic. I have guys that work at different areas, at different companies. Because let's be real, if you've been in sanitation longer than 10 years, it's pretty much musical chairs. So what I'm saying is, by the sheer volume of numbers that Amazon will have, there's going to be even more Amazon workers involved at the meetings. And the trash truck drivers, it's just a handful of guys at these meetings, probably the same handful of guys that show up to these meetings, that make time to go to these meetings. So therefore, also, you have the whole narrative right now with the politics. We have a lot of, right now, at least in this administration, it's not even hidden, a lot of cronyism, a lot of, so this is pretty much oligarchy. It's always been an oligarchy, but it's just out there, right there, just blatant. And with the narrative of Amazon, the NLRB, you can, I shared something in December where you saw these Amazon Teamsters. They were like organizing. They were getting ready. They were like, hey, look, we're going up against a huge conglomerate of a company, a big titan, a Goliath of a company. You're going up against Amazon, one of the probably the biggest, if not one of the biggest American companies that exists. And these guys are organizing, they're getting ready, they're strategizing, they're coming with their game plan. They're coming with their game plan right now. And they already have the UPS. They already have the UPS as sort of like a blueprint of what to do. They already have the UPS. The UPS is already package handling. So that's the blueprint. So they fit right in. Seamless, perfect, like a glove. They fit right in with the Teamsters. So they already have the blueprint. They already know what they have to do. So these guys are going to do a phenomenal job with the progress. And much props to you guys. Keep organizing, keep strategizing, keep showing up to meetings, and keep that spirit. Stay involved, because I'm going to tell you this story and I'm going to close it out. I don't want this to be no 80-minute video. You want to know something? That last contract that we just had, was the first time that I've seen a phenomenal pension that was set for trash truck drivers. Do you know, I was sitting at a meeting, and at this general meeting, they made an announcement. They said, we're going to have a meeting for all retirement Teamsters on this day. Bring your spouses. This is going to be very important. It's going to show you the process of how to have that peaceful retirement. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this. This is phenomenal. Like, some stuff like this existed, and I didn't even know it. Then we get out, we read the fine print, and the fine print says, this is only for UPS Teamsters. This is not for all Teamster members. This is specifically a program that was designed for UPS Teamsters. And then the person looked at me and like, man, well, why they don't have that for us? And the sad part, the reason why the Teamsters didn't have that for us is because we just barely got it this past contract. The UPS Teamsters, they were already on that 30, 40 years ago. They were already on pensions 30, 40 years ago. So now the guys that are trying to retire now, that program doesn't exist because it hasn't, the generations before never required anything beyond give me the dollar, give me the upfront money, give me the dollar. I want money, give me the money, upfront money. And then you realize, dang man, contract after contract, you don't ask for this. And then you get towards the back end of your career where you're pretty much at the twilight of your career, and you're not getting what you imagine you would get for your retirement. So you can't just sell off into the sunset at a decent age where you can retire with dignity. You can go live the last years of your life with dignity. Because the guys in our industry never really cared about, with the exception of a few. I'm not talking about all trash truck drivers, but I'm saying generally the majority of the drivers never cared. They never put in the effort to understand their contract until something happens, until they're on the brink of getting fired, until they're in a situation where they really need some help to get out of a bad situation. Then they want to go to the union, right? And then they retire, and they get to the retirement age, and they realize they can't retire. They have to work a little bit longer than what they thought that they was going to work. And you hear guys make whispers and say, oh, why is this guy working? Kind of like ageism. Why is this guy working at this age? Why is this guy working so late to this age? In this economy, they don't have a choice, right? The goose egg that was the golden goose egg that was promised to these gentlemen, it never really came to fruition. You got to think, a lot of things have happened in this economy. We went through pandemics. When you get to a retirement age, you've been through a couple of recessions, right? Almost every decade is a recession, and we're about to go into another recession. So you've been through multiple recessions. You've been through all of these things, and you get to an age where you think you can retire, and you've already built the lifestyle around the money that you make, and you can't retire. Like, to retire is a luxury. You know, to work for so many years at a company without being fired, you know, to overcome all of those obstacles and beat the odds, knowing how dangerous trash is, Many guys don't make it to retirement, but when you finally get to the age where you can make it to retirement, you realize that you can't even retire because the years in your 30s, your 40s, you could have fought for something to have some kind of goose egg. You never fought for it. So that's why I get involved. That's why I want to be involved next contract. I want to be involved so that way when the guys under me, the guys that are in their 30s, the guys that are in their 20s, when they retire, they can have that same energy to build and make it better for the ones after them. Because that happens with the UPS Teamsters. That's going to happen with the Amazon Teamsters. And if enough drivers don't get involved, if we don't unify, it doesn't matter if you work for whoever. If you work in the waste industry, I got love for you. I want you to unionize, of course, but I got love for you. And with that being said, I'm gonna come with another video afterwards, kind of going over my reaction to the general meeting.